I don't want to alienate other people. I want people to also feel like they enjoy my presence and they enjoy what I do. So please, if you watch this, please let me know what you think is best. What do you think would you like best for this channel? Okay, I needed to say that. Let's move on to the Ace Attorney. Where is that button? All right. All right, welcome back to Ace Attorney. And by the way, the spoiler alert is active. Let me just move that real quick. There we go. Remember the rule, everybody. No spoilers. Anyone who posts spoilers in the chats, real or fake, about the Greatest Attorney games risks being permanently banned from chat, and I do not want to do that. Thank you all for understanding that. And let's start this game. By the way, unless it becomes too egregious, the spoiler rule will remain here. Hopefully it's visible. Hopefully it's visible. I am looking around to see if it is indeed visible. Let me see. Yeah, it seems like it's visible enough that up there. So let's begin. Welcome everybody to the Greatest Attorney Chronicles. Last time we finished the first game in this duology, and he left us with a few extra questions that I didn't know how to process. I had to take time, and honestly, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Actually, let me just shrink a little bit. Hi, it's gonna shrink a little bit. I'll be perfectly honest. I think that's good enough. Hi, I'm just gonna stick here, just looking at you through the corner, like that. There we go. That's perfect. That's perfect for me. All right. So I'll be perfectly honest. I don't know where this is going, but they tell me this is fantastic. The second game is actually fantastic, and I can't wait. Also, I noticed that the game's audio is a little low. That's odd. It's supposed to be at the very tip top. Huh. That's odd. Huh. Let me raise the volume of the game a little bit. There's certain levels I want the game audio to be. I think this is good enough. I think this is good enough. I think this is good enough. I think we can keep it like that. By the way, if my audio, if any level of the audio is a little bit too overbearing, please let me know. I am no expert at this. Okay? In fact, I'm gonna do a quick audio check. Alright, give me a second. Audio check 1, 2. Okay, the game audio is a little low. Let me raise it a little bit. One, two, 1, 2, 3. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think I'm good with this. Cool. Ow, ow, hair, damn it. Okay, I think I like this. Alright. With that, let us begin. Okay, I'm pretty sure I need to change any game options, but just so we're certain. Ooh, should I keep the screen flashes? I'm gonna keep them, but you know. Alright. Definitely not gonna keep story mode. We're gonna do this the right way. You could say the right way. Alright. That's odd. Wait, do I need to select it? Oh. Ah, here we are. That's how you get into the second game. Shall we begin? Pretty sure there's a cutscene here. I love the art style of the Ace Attorney games. And it seems this game really. Oh. Oh no.
Standing here in the bright sunshine, looking out over the vast ocean. Those days in London seem like a dream. But I do miss my time in England's vast capital. You know, he's flourished into a truly wonderful lawyer. I've no doubt that at this very moment, he's fighting some noble cause in court.
Is Dad?
Forgive me for taking so long to come to visit you.
Oh no.
My life has been such a whirlwind since I returned. And no one could have predicted what has happened. Just 2 months after arriving home.
I found myself faced with an awful crime. You!
So I came here today to ask something of you. Tomorrow, I shall be standing in court. For the only time in my life. As a lawyer. So please, I ask for your guidance.
Oh my god!
Kazuma-sama.
Wait. Kazuma. Okay, fine, but I thought that was her father. Is it not the father? Oh wow. Okay. So we're not talking. We're not. It's not being Ryunosuke. It's actually. Oh, yes. 13th of August, 8:26 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendants Anti-Chamber 3, and this is where my awful voice acting begins. Here I am again, after 9 months. The Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. I feel so nervous, but I must still my nerves and find a way to compose myself. What do you know? He survived. Oh, good, you're here. It doesn't do for a lawyer to be late. Yes, good morning, sir. I hardly recognize you. You got a fine figure, counsel. You look as white as a sheet. And as white as arms doing you any favors either. Oh dear. The truth is, I'm so incredibly nervous. I feel utterly nauseated. I almost wish that I had never been born. Goodness, not the sort of thing a father hopes to hear from his daughter, I must say. Yuri Mikotoba, professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. A man who, earlier in his life, traveled to Great Britain to study the latest advancements in forensic medical science. And of course, my brilliant father. Excuse me? Who's this? How are you, darling? Would I be correct? Okay. Would I be correct in thinking that you're a lawyer card today? Oh yes, that's right, miss. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to represent me. I swear my life. It's a complete fabrication, the whole thing! Ray Membani, born the same year as I, and my greatest friend. Though unusual for a woman at her time, she works at the University Research Laboratory helping my father. And sadly, she's the defendant in today's trial, accused of committing a truly awful murder. Are you feeling alright? Since you started talking, you seem, well, to have become a little flushed. It's just that you look so gallant and dashing. Sorry? And when I fall under your intense gaze, it makes me feel rather bashful. Susato, dear, taking all the ladies. Oh my word. Goodness, I don't think she knows. She doesn't realize who I am. Wait a minute. It was in my little plan for this trial. It's going to... What's going on? What's going on? What's with this game? What do you mean, Professor Mikitama? If even your best friend can't see through the disguise, then we can relax. Disguise? Yes, I've never tried dressing this way before, of course. So I wasn't sure how convincing it would be. But it does make me feel a little relieved, as you say, Father. Father? Is that you, Susato? I'm sorry. Never mind. Oh my gosh. Let me read that again. I'm so sorry I didn't say something sooner, Ray. It's just that... No! What are you doing? What's going on? That varsity uniform, that varsity cap, that varsity cape, that varsity badge. Look at you. For all the world, although you look a student in Imperial Yume University, a male student. I'm so glad you think so. It means my preparations have been worthwhile. I woke at 4 this morning to make a start. But I don't understand. Why are you dressed like that? Well, you see... It was the only way. The only way she will be permitted into the Supreme Court to take on your defense in this trial. My defense? Yep, I'm seeing this. Never before in my life have I felt so frustrated at having been born into this body. I'm taking a screenshot of that because that seems like main potential. Of course, in Japan are barred to women. We're not even allowed to set foot inside the courtroom, despite the fact that the laws of the land apply to all people, male and female alike. But women are forbidden. Shh. Just for today, I believe in my true self at the courtroom, so that I can act because you liar. Susato, you go to such lengths for me? Of course. You're my greatest friend. And I worry that I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. I just worry I shan't be the lawyer you deserve. I have complete faith in you, Ray. It's so strange, though. I mean, you're such an accomplished judicial assistant already. And yet, just because you're a woman, oh, what a wretched reason. I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed in court? You're so gallant and dashing. My Susato! Oh my gosh, it's getting hot in here. Ray, please don't look at me like that with those flushed cheeks and doting eyes. Man, I miss this attorney. I have to say, one thing I gotta say right now. The main reason why I put a space between playing the first game and the second game was for this very reason, because I didn't want to feel burnt out after the end of the second game. So I wanted to like give myself a time to cool off and then come back here just full force. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just you really do look so dashing. Yes, you mentioned that once or twice. Not 3 times. You should be pleased. That means you look convincing as a man. That's not a compliment. I am pleased, I think. You certainly helped to bolster my confidence today. Ray, you're managing to put a brave face on all this, but I can see through it. I've noticed how your shoulders are slumped, how you're trembling ever so slightly. Susato? You do believe me, don't you? I didn't do it. I couldn't have. I mean, murder? Of course. You have nothing to worry about. Your conscience is perfectly clean. Isn't that right? Yes. Yes, it is. Perfectly clean. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about your innocence. Okay, that's a key that I need water. Yeah. Which is why I'll stand by you until the bitter end in this trial. Whatever happens, I'll always be on your side. Because that's what it means to be a defense lawyer. It means so much to me, Susato. Defendant counsel. Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. You should go in at once, Ray. If you're late, the judge won't hesitate to pronounce you guilty. Stand aside! I don't think I've ever seen her run this fast. Well, Susato, you certainly surprised your father. Going to such a length to be admitted into the courtroom, and with no prior experience of being a lawyer. There was simply no other way. That's all there is to it. But father, you haven't told her, have you? I mean, I'm right in assuming that Ray doesn't know how it came to this. Yes, quite right. I've kept that information from her. It would only worry her if she found out that no other lawyer would agree to take her case. I didn't want to burden her with that. And is it true? The reason why every other lawyer is refusing to take the case? Is it really because of who the victim was? We should be making a move now, too. As you know, law isn't my field, but I'll do what I can to support my student. Thank you, Father. I'm Susutomi Kotoba, a judicial assistant. 8 months ago, I accompanied a student of law on a study trip to Great Britain. But 2 months ago, Due to unforeseen circumstances, I found myself back in Japan. How many times have I wished that he were here? I wonder. Still, I have no choice now but to steel myself for the trial ahead. Wish me luck, Naruhodo-san. Oh, I can't wait. 13th of August, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Courtroom 1. This court is now in session. I don't know how I did the original voice. I'm sorry. This court is now in session to hear the trial of Ray Memory.
The prosecution is fully ready to proceed, Your Excellency.
Wow. Wow, I love this. I love all of this. Defense counsel, are you ready? Yes. Yes, Your Excellency, we are ready.
Ready.
Yes, counsel. According to your registration details, your name is... No name blank slate? Ryutaro Naruhodo. What the hell is that? Ryutaro Naruhodo. Is that correct? Sorry? Yes, I had to compress it on my name for you this adventure. So I'm afraid that I simply put down the first name that sprung to mind. Whoa, counsel. Yes, that's right. That's me. I'm in. Yes, I am Ryutaro, he who has vowed to uphold the pride of the great Naruhodo clan. Oh. Seems Ryutaro may need to consider better to uphold his manly at first and not do it. And those wild, wide eyes aren't doing you any favors, I think. Just relax and listen. Yes, I see as well. I see that as well.
A fresh face in this courtroom, if I'm not mistaken. But the name, Naruhodo, would that perchance be...
You may be thinking of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, currently in prison as part of a study program. This is, his cousin! That's right. Ryutaro here has been studying in the provinces, but was called to the capital for this trial. I assure you, in matters of law, his knowledge rivals that of any of rivals that of any of Tokyo's preeminent lawyers. Any of them!
What a pitiful situation. Having been rejected by every lawyer in the capital, the accused has to call a country boy.
You shut yourself. You shut your mouth, okay? I have a lot of things to say to you from the past game.
How dare you? How dare you? Since there's ever been a gallant that doesn't have you Tokyo attorneys, I wouldn't have you making fun of them.
Her? Ray? For the love of all that is holy, shut your mouth.
Please be careful, Ray. What an unrefined tomboy we have here. But I wonder, is your gallant and dashing lawyer up to the challenge of defending you? His wide, skittish eyes pretty much suggest that he is not.
I'm so nervous. Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to understand what Naruhodo-san goes through. Like it or not, eyes are want to flit. The case to be heard in this day is a matter of great significance to our national interests. In fact, it would be reasonable to assume that the outcome of this trial may very well affect the very future of our empire.
Just like the trial 9 months ago.
Which you lost. And by the way, you're an asshole. Cante vende patria eres tú. A propósito.
And yet, for proceedings of such importance, we have this unknown yokel by the duck. Dear me.
Perhaps this would be an appropriate moment for me to assess the defense, to determine whether you are sufficiently competent to practice in this courtroom. 9 months ago, when I served another note of a suit before you are standing now, this same judge tested him as well. And even though he was just a student at the time, not even of law, he passed the test with flying colors. For a trained and experienced judicial assistant like you, this should be easy. So, counsel, do you consent to answering some simple questions?
Alright. It's time to prove myself.
Susato, I think you should put that back on. Just for the sake of, keeping the appearances. The cape.
Yes, Your Excellency. But please do make it simple.
Very well, to start with, you will state the name of the victim. Okay.
That is simple. I couldn't forget that if I tried.
What's the matter?
Now that I'm standing in his shoes, I'm starting to misunderstand everything else that the scene goes through.
Yes, it's really that challenging, isn't it?
Like it or not, my sword won't to blank.
It's not surprising, really. It's your first time in this position and in that, guys. Even a bright spark like you is bound to flicker and falter, even a little under the circumstances.
Oh dear, this is a dismal failure.
Don't fret. You can only use the knowledge you gain as a judicial assistant to overcome that problem.
Of course, the court record.
Yes, the answer will be amongst all the key information about the case in the court record. That's right. Just open the court record. Then, go to the people section. And don't take too long over it. His Excellency is watching you closely.
Alright. Check the court record. That's where the information I need will be.
And now I can access the court record. Okay, so we got the post-mortem record. I might have seen this before. Victim Giselle Brett, female, British, time of death August 11 around 2 p.m. Ascertained by examination and witness statements. Cause of death, single deep stab wound from behind piercing a lung and resulting in a fatal hemorrhage. Death would have occurred within minutes. Notes extreme meiosis or pupil constriction was observed in the victims of both in the victim in both eyes. Extreme meiosis. How's that gonna come into play? Eventually, perhaps. Let's see, everybody. So I got Eugene Mikotaba, which is sorry. Okay. That's the father. Raymond Bami, who is our defendant, best friend who works as an assistant. My father and his laboratory at the Imperial University. She's a defendant in this case. Giselle Brett, the victim of the case, was a former British exchange student. 9 months ago, she was found guilty of the murder of visiting professor Dr. Dr. John Wilson. All right. There you go. Takeshi Auchi, the lead prosecutor of this case, who appears to be struggling to accept the changes afoot as a result of these turbulent new times in Japan, the Meiji era. Yeah, Auchi, you are a real pain in the butt, aren't you? Okay. I'm waiting, counsel. What is the name of the victim in this case? It is Takeshi Auchi! This is how you save, right? How did you save again? Oh, right here. I'm just gonna make a save file right here. There we go. It is. Who is Mikotoba? Oh, sorry. That's the. Let's do that for first.
The victim in this case is, yes, Prosecutor Takatsushi Ouchi.
What?
What the sudden triumphant cry of yes? Are you threatening to kill me?
He seems angry.
And you're surprised? Do you consult the court record? You must look through it carefully. Yes, I did. Of course. I look at every one file, and I chose the person whose features appear to be most deadly.
Oh, the shade! I must say, this most unusual methodology of yours leaves me almost speechless. Oh, I missed this case here. It occurs to me with renewed certainty that reading the information carefully is vitally important. I strongly recommend it.
Oh dear. I simply can't ignore that imploring look. Recently, please allow me to amend my answer.
Very well, I will excuse this incorrect response given your wide-eyed state of panic. And, okay. So let's get Giselle, it's Giselle Brett.
Yes!
Oh!
The name of the victim who lost her life in this case is Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle Brett.
A name that will never be forgotten in the courtrooms of our country, I'm sure. Correct. And being a member of our empire's judiciary, you will be aware of the significance of that name. So, let me pose another simple question. As you know, Miss Brett was a visiting student from the Empire of Great Britain. Why then is her name inevitably associated with our own empire's judicial history? Obviously, you won't have forgotten the case from 9 months ago, but it's proving hard to recall the finer points. Everything you knew is included in the court record.
Obviously, I still remember. That was the start of everything. Giselle Brett, behind the woman's student persona, was the face of the killer.
Yes!
9 months ago, a visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University was killed, and the culprit was Giselle Brett.
Yes, she was a killer. At the time, our country had just signed a new treaty with the Empire of Great Britain, and it was in the midst of this delicate diplomatic situation that the incident occurred. An Englishman, Dr. John Wilson, was shot dead. I believe he was an associate of yours, Professor Mikoto. Oh, sorry, that was the judge I was talking. No, I don't want Oda. Yes, I was indebted to the man. Wait a second. Yes, I was indebted to the man. He'd been my mentor when I went to London to study forensics medicine. Indeed, it was I who invited him here to Japan as a visiting professor at the university. Naturally, the murder of an Englishman on our soil was a matter the government wished to resolve rapidly. Indeed it was, which is why a secret trial was conducted here at the Supreme Court. A student of the Imperial Yume University was arrested on suspicion of murder. A second-year English language student by the name of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. With the help of his best friend, a student lawyer, the accused conducted his own defense and exposed the despicable crime committed by Miss Giselle Brett. That's right. Nobody's gonna cry at your funeral, Miss Brett. Miss Brett eventually admitted to her crime. However, when questioned about the motive that drove her to take Dr. Wilson's life, She gave no satisfactory answer before the trial reached its conclusion. What about after? Did she ever say anything?
Immediately after the trial, the British government brought his consular jurisdiction into play. We were unable to sentence Miss Brett according to our empire's laws. It was decided that she would be removed to Shanghai, China instead.
Oh, sure. Sure, hide your crimes. Run to Shanghai for all I care. Nope. But why Shanghai? There's a British consular court there. Correct. I oversaw the negotiations personally. The date of her transfer to Shanghai was finally settled upon only last week. She's been on this country awaiting sentencing for 9 months? How slow are you? All that remains of our empire's obligations was to see the woman safely on board a steamship.
And yet, the very day before her departure, the Englishwoman was killed.
Oh, only the day before? What a coincidence! Then again, this is his attorney. We're going to be seeing a lot of coincidences. Moving on. That will do. I'm satisfied that the counsel of the defense is sufficiently capable of representing the defendant.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Over the first hurdle.
Now, a summary of the incident, if you please. Prosecutor Auchi.
As you wish, Your Excellency.
Alright, let's hear this.
The repugnant crime took place on the...
What the heck just happened in the back of my TV? Give me a second, I need to fix something. Sorry about that, my Elgato decided he wanted to like jump. Thank goodness the stream did not go dark. Actually, let me get some water while I'm here. Okay.
The repugnant crime took place on the 11th of August in broad daylight.
In broad daylight? Wow.
On the outskirts of the imperial capital, under a bright blue sky at a secluded bathing spot by the sea. The incident occurred inside a small beach hut, erected for bathers to rest or change their clothes. The cause of death was a single stab wound to the posterior abdomen that pierced the victim's lung, an injury which proved fatal.
Does she always dress like that? Not that I care. She's dead. I don't care about her anymore.
There were two persons alone together in the beach hut at the time of the victim's death. Miss Brett in her bathing attire, and the accused, Ray Membany.
Sorry.
Accordingly, there can be no doubt that the accused's guilt, especially when we consider she had a powerful motive. The police arrived rapidly at the scene and promptly arrested the young lady.
That's a lot to unpack there. Well, that extraordinary depiction of events leaves me somewhat lost for words, I must say. That's certainly true. The prosecution's summary was full of words that raised an awful lot of questions. As a lawyer, I really ought to pick up the prosecution counsel. I really ought to pick the prosecution's counsel on what he said about... Okay, the baiting spot. Okay, I have so many questions. Not just about the bathing spot, about the fact that they're alone. In fact, I have questions about, for example, one, is she supposed to be like being sent? Wouldn't she be like on the like police guard at the time? So yeah, why are they alone? Why is she in a bathing spot? Shouldn't she be on like police custody? Meaning she couldn't just go, you can just freely go to the bathing spot. What the hell's the motive? Like what the hell? There's a lot to unpack here. Do I pick one or can I? Okay, I'm going to save because I'm not sure if I'm. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to choose all three, and I want to see what all three say.
If I may, Prosecutor Oshi. What do you want, you fresh-faced junk yuckle student? I wonder, could you explain, please? You mentioned a bathing spot. My apologies, Gluten. My modernity has confused the poor country bumpkin's simple mind. Bathing spots are the very latest trend in health practices from the West. We are told that bathing in the water of the ocean is curative, therapeutic, and excellent for the skin's... No! That's not what I mean. I was referring to the fact that Miss Brett had, to all intents and purposes, be found guilty of murder. Why would a known criminal have been relaxing by the sea?
Exactly.
For all time's sake, can I believe? Sorry? Miss Brett was to depart for Shanghai the following day. Her final wish, as it were, was to enjoy a day at our country's wonderful coast.
So it was granted to her as a sort of a final wish, quote unquote.
And the British Embassy put extreme pressure on our government to comply. But on what grounds would you agree to such a request? Because, as usual, our government is unable to stand up on foreign powers. In matters of diplomacy, it seems we won't even have the courage to decline the whims of a known criminal. Don't look at me, Professor! It was the government who granted permission, not I! In any case, it was decided that with a dedicated detective on duty, nothing could go wrong.
Where is the detective on duty?
But in fact, a murder did take place. I said don't look at me! It was a young stutter girl who did it, not I! No one has proved that yet? I wouldn't provoke the man if you don't need to. At this stage, I need to gather more information, I think. So, yeah, really...
Okay. Okay, we can talk about all three. Cool. So what about being alone together?
Remember me, son. Yes, what is this? I mean, little other son. Really starting to wish you made my alliance your dad Please tell the court why exactly you were present at the bathing spot with the victim in the first place, and why we were alone with her. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. It wasn't like that at all. There were other people present. A detective who was guarding Miss Brett, for starters. I was just asked to accompany Miss Brett as a companion. That's all. But, let us be clear. At the moment of her death, you were alone, together with the victim in the hut. You and no one else. The truth is, there's only one reason why this young woman accompanied Miss Brett on her bathing sojourn.
How would you pronounce that?
It was the accused's last chance to take the victim's life.
Why would you want to kill?
No! Because, as we know, the following day would see Miss Brett extradited to the British authorities in Shanghai.
Yo, Cats! Caxip06, how are you doing? First time chatter, how's it going? I am doing just fine, by the way. I'm just experiencing Ace Attorney, The Great Ace Attorney 2 for... Give me a second. for the very first time. And it's a treat, by the way. It's a real treat. If you want to, I say if you want to try this game, go right ahead. I think it's a fantastic game, and it's on almost everything, I do believe. Let's see. It's on PS4, on Switch, and on PC. Also, if you are, if you're feeling like very like adventurous, it's also on 3DS, but you have to find the fan translation for that. Okay, the following day we see the spread started. Okay, yeah.
And the accused will never have an opportunity to dispatch her again.
Here's the thing. How does she know any of that? How would she know any of that?
Kindly refrain from conjecture, Counsel.
The Prosecution Council seems to enjoy using provocative tricks like that. For now at least, we need to assemble more facts. Try not to let him go here.
Oh dear, this is really terrifying. But Father's right. We need more information.
So let's talk about the motive.
You're clearly exaggerating. Powerful motive is a blatant overstatement. It's the yokel boy using long words he doesn't fully understand. I beg your pardon? No matter. Let us put this to the accused, shall we? Membami-san, you are a research assistant at the Imperial Yume University, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I am. Working with Professor Mikutama in his laboratory at the moment.
I can confirm that. The defendant is an excellent assistant with a strong sense of responsibility.
Fascinating to hear. Now, another question. Prior to your work with Professor Mikutama, whose research were you assistant then?
Objection, this is conjecture.
I was studying under Dr. John H. Wilson?
Dr. Wilson? The visiting English professor who was murdered by Miss Brett 9 months ago?
The accused had a deep-seated respect for her former mentor, Dr. Wilson. Is that not true? Yes, Dr. Wilson was a wonderful man. Interesting. Then tell her what deep-seated feelings you had towards the English woman who killed him. Well, obviously I was filled with hatred for what she'd done. Powerful hatred.
And you're not helping your case, darling.
No, Ray, be careful what you're saying. The motive was revenge. Plain and simple, Your Excellency.
There's still one question. How would she know? She had no access to court records. Heck, women are not allowed in the courtroom in Japan in this era. How would she know any of this? How would she know that was the last chance? I believe we all have a clear picture of the incident now. Despite her guilt being determined 9 months ago, Miss Brett managed to avoid incarceration and instead continued her research work at the university. Why? How? Obviously, over that period, she and Ray would have encountered each other on a number of occasions. Seeing the murderer of the mentor whom she had such great respect enjoying such undeserved liberty. Yes, even if it was only temporary until Miss Brett's extradition to Shanghai, you can hardly blame Ray for her feelings of anger and resentment.
Poor Ray. So, Your Excellency, if you could be so kind as to peruse this exhibit. A photographic print that shows the scene of the crime immediately following the grim incident.
Okay. Oh, yes, thank you, Counsel. A tragic image indeed. Oh my gosh. I'll need to look at this with like a fine-tooth comb because something's just not right.
As you can clearly see, there is nowhere within the hut that anyone else would have hidden.
I can think of 2 spots. 3 if you count what's outside of this picture. The court will accept this photographic print as evidence. So we got the crime scene photograph, a photographic print of the scene taken by the police just after the incident occurred. The stab wound in the victim's back is clearly visible. As I understand it then, the victim and the defendant were alone inside the beach hut at the time. Okay, I can... yeah. I don't know if this is gonna do anything, but I can look at things very much more clearly. See if there's anything... Okay, since she was clutching at something. Like a pen, perhaps. She was drinking? Maybe some wine? Brush. She definitely didn't want people to see her full face. Ugh. I guess we're not gonna see it anymore. Not that it matters. Let's continue. This is deeply troubling, I would say. The finger of guilt points firmly at the defendant.
Well, Your Excellency, naturally the prosecution has much more to this case. Huh? We intend to prove the accused's appalling actions beyond all possible contention. To that end, I can confirm that we have multiple witnesses to the crime and damning evidence. Witnesses? But who?
Exactly, I don't know either.
One of whom, I might add, is a highly respected police detective. I assure you, the testimony of these witnesses will leave no room for doubt.
You speak a good game, Mr. Ouchie, but I don't think you're gonna... Very well, counsel. Bring forth your witnesses.
I, Taketsuchi Ouchi, have been waiting for this moment.
Sorry?
Oh yes, I haven't forgotten. The trial 9 months ago, here, in this very courthouse, when that irreverent little student boy utterly humiliated me.
Hold up. What happened to your hair? What? Yes.
This insult to the Ouchi family name will never be forgotten.
You've become conceited with age, counsel. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Oh, so that's why he looks like that. Okay.
Strike the head of a samurai whose top knot has been cut, and the bell of cultural enlightenment tolls. Yes, on that fateful day, my former self died.
Huh. The start of your own mini-major revolution. Are you modernizing us well, counsel?
Silence! Since I saw revenge back then, there has been a minor miracle atop my head. Serve the Ouchi growth.
I don't think I want to see your growth. No.
Oh, you see the seed of hope sprouting forth from the barren expanse of my crown.
I do, and I do not want to see it anymore.
I think the tiny growth is trying to tell me something.
This game.
I'm afraid I can't really see, like, where is the
Hope exactly. Damn, that's savage.
I said silence! Today, I face another Yoko student of Nagato. Well, I will vanquish you. And the victory will be the fertilizer for the seed of hope atop my head. You have been warned. With that, the prosecution calls to the witnesses to the stand.
I forgot we have multiple witnesses.
It looks like the stakes are high on both sides in this trial. The prosecution and defense each has much to lose.
A haircut is hardly comparable to Ray's life. Exactly. Hold up. These two people. We know these two people. Please let me know. Please tell me that these two people actually understand and try to bring things to my side. Because come on, man. Sorry.
Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm in disguise, obviously, so I can go undetected. And I am, well, the next big thing in books. I am of the renown throughout this capital, in fact, yes. To be sold out as a Terkola I am a cat. A sensational success by Suzuki Natsume. And who is that? Oh my goodness. Struggling student from the province's police. You don't need to be in awe of me. Needn't I? It's only natural that you feel nervous in my presence. But all of you, please relax. Call me Suzuki even. Yes? What on earth is Suzuki-san doing here?
Tread carefully, Susato. That other fellow knows you from your time in London, doesn't he? If he exposes you for who you really are, this will be over before it's begun.
Crap. We can't use that for our advantage. Yes, of course. I know. Okay. I presume Suzuki-san won't have forgotten about me. Would have certainly never forgotten him. Although he does seem to have changed somewhat in the 6 months or so that's been since I last saw him. And as for Inspector Hosonaga, that amazing outfit is hard to believe. Do I have something on my face? Well, your glasses for one, although they don't seem to be helping you see. Thank goodness he hasn't recognized me either.
Ah, I suppose this is disguise, isn't it?
Although that appearing here in the clothes that I was wearing at the time would make for a more faithful testimony.
It is my guiding principle to carry out all testimonies flawlessly. Well, I can appreciate why an Imperial Police Bureau detective might have been present, but what business did a writer such as yourself have being at the scene, Suzuki-san?
Oh, well, you see, I had been asked today to give a lecture on the morning of the incident in the Imperial Yume University's camp lecture hall, no less. At Yume University? After the lecture, I had a very pleasant conversation with the researchers from the medical science department. The professor over there, in fact. With Professor Mikutama.
Yes, that's right. It was arranged by one of the newspapers. They wanted some story or other about two former students who studied in Great Britain.
Of course, being a renowned author, the press never leaves me alone. The secret spy, snapshot, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy. As you can see, the conversation was written up in this newspaper here. Gimme, I'm pretty sure that's gonna be evidence. Read it at your leisure, my provincial struggling student friend. I have plenty of copies. Thank you very much. You practically threw that paper at me. Okay, so the Sasuke Natsume article, a newspaper containing an article about a discussion between my father and Sasuke-san. The debate became quite spirited. Anyway, following my interview with the professor, as always, we'll check it. Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm not entirely sure if this is gonna be any evidence. Okay. The lady in question appeared and made a very unexpected announcement. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Those were her words. Mr. Mikotoba, you are leaving the information behind that I should know.
As I explained before, Miss Breath was never taken into custody. She continued to work in my laboratory under strict surveillance, of course.
At which utterance, the university immediately contacted the government to seek guidance. And the response was, permit Miss Brett to go as long as the detective accompanies her.
The detective I am at liberty to divulge was me, Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga.
Thereby the entire party departed cordially for the seaside, it seems.
So, 3 people. It was extremely challenging to clear all the other members of the public from the vicinity of the beach. So, there were people, but you took them. Why? But fortunately, I am at peak physical fitness at the moment, so I was able to carry out my duty flawlessly. Why are you bleeding? Are you seriously? You're bleeding again.
Oh my, Inspector, you. Well, you do have something in your face now.
Oh, how unsightly. I do apologize.
Does that mean you went to the beach? Does that mean you went to the beach to follow?
No. Unfortunately, I had work to finish off. But unfortunately, of course, I meant that as my assistant, Ray was invited to take my place. So you're telling me that if he had gone, this would have been a case of accusing him. It was either him or her. There was no other real reason. I'm gonna prove that is the case. Of course, being a renowned author, I didn't like to decline the invitation. No, but only if I had. I'd never seen such an awful sight. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret. Very well. I must now ask you to present your formal testimony to the court. You will give an account of all that you witnessed on your impromptu excursion to the coast. Of course, Your Excellency. Relentlessly racked by remorse and regret, I am. Witness testimony. The witness scene. On the day of the incident, I was ordered on a special surveillance assignment in this disguise. I just managed to catch that crab when I suddenly heard a caterwaul from behind me. I ran into the beach hut at once, where I found the pair in question. Yes, the young girl was astride of the Englishwoman, dagger in hand, as she stabbed wildly. I saw blood on the blade. It proved to me that she'd stabbed the victim multiple times. And we got our first problem. Indeed, it does appear from this testimony that both witnesses were present saw it at the very moment of this heinous crime.
What? Now, if you recall, I promised evidence as well. What phrase did I use again? Ah, yes, that was it. Damning evidence.
What have you there, Counsel? So-called fountain pen, is it? Correct, Your Excellency. I found it at the scene whilst examining the body. It appears that in her dying moments with her final ounce of strength, the victim clutched a piece of evidence that would positively identify her killer.
What? Your Excellency, if you cast your eyes over the photographic print of the crime scene once more.
I was wondering about that. Oh, goodness me. Yes, the victim is clearly grasping something quite deliberately there in her hand. I'm gonna say it. It's planted evidence. It's probably planted evidence. Oh, that's right. The fountain pen. And if you kindly examine the pen, Your Excellency. The owner's initials have been engraved in the ebonite barrel. R.M. Ray Membami is a Japanese student. Why would she use Roman letters instead of Japanese characters? Also, how the hell, as a student, would she have the money to do this? Tell me that. Come on. So we need to find somebody who's RM, essentially. Let me look at the people right here. Obviously, it's none of these people, but I'm gonna say right now, it's probably her. I'm gonna say it. I don't think that's her real name. I don't think I don't think Giselle Brett's her real name. I think she has an actual name, and it's RM. Probably something like let's see, RM would be like something like Rachel, something like Rachel McAllister, something like that. There you go. And if actually Rachel McAllister, I would be so shocked. But now, it's probably Giselle's pen. I'm gonna say this. Yeah. There's nobody else that I can think of that it could be it. The initials of the defendant.
Huh?
This fountain pen will be admitted immediately as critical evidence. Fountain pen, that pen that was the victim was found grasping in her hand. It carries the initials RM. I'm gonna say this. This is planted evidence.
So, have I admitted anything? Decisive testimony and damning evidence. There's a bright blue sky outside the courthouse today. Perfect weather to ascribe guilt, I feel. I don't understand. The prosecutor Oshi from 9 months ago had none of this man's poise.
Counsel for the defense, you may begin your cross-examination now. Naruhodo-san.
That means... Oh, yes, me.
Is there another Naruhodo in my courtroom?
Actually, there isn't even a single Naruhodo in your courtroom.
Cousin Ryuta, pull yourself together, please.
Alright. I've seen this countless times as a judicial assistant, finding consistencies in the witness's testimony to prove that they're lying somehow. That's all there is to it. That's how a real lawyer would handle a cross-examination. So let's see what I can do.
You know what I'm gonna say next, right? We're gonna come back to this in my next stream. Next Saturday. Let me go back to her face. Next Saturday, welcome back to The Greatest Attorney. And we're gonna go and gonna dissect the very first testimony of the second game. Already I can see a lot of problems with that testimony. So we're going to, if everything goes well, we might be able to finish the first case on this stream. If not, it's gonna go on till Sunday. But that doesn't matter. I'm having fun. This is a wonderful game, and I want you all to play it. Honestly, play it. This game is fantastic. This game is great. Like, I cannot say that enough. Play this game. Okay, Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to get her face away from us because thank you so much. You look so determined, but I need to do my outro. And the spoiler can go away. Thank you all so much for watching, whether it was live or whether it was in the VOD. I'm planning to putting this stuff on YouTube again, so I hope that you go watch the next one. Go watch the next one when it's live, when it's uploaded on the YouTubes. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic day.